If you know, like I know, all gold 14 karat or 18 karat gold pieces from David Yurman, they're taxing, baby. They are taxing. Maybe if I hit the Powerball. What's up, YouTube? I'm Charmaine Jamil, and welcome to my channel. Today, we are talking about David Yurman and how to get a really great piece of David Yurman jewelry for the low low. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So now, if you're like me, you really like expensive things, but may not have the pocketbook for those expensive things. And you just like to, get a great deal. And let's be honest, David Yurman jewelry is not cheap, but it's beautiful jewelry. So of course it would not be cheap. I really wanted to do this video because I've been looking on TikTok and seeing all of the girlies and the guys do the unboxings of their new David Yurman pieces. And I really love how they go in the store and they get the boxes and they, tap their nails on the box to reveal this, beautiful David Yurman piece. But I have to be honest with you. Me personally, with my collection, have never been in a David Yurman store ever. And I mean that, ever. I've walked by one, but I've actually never been in one to have the experience of what it's like to work with a sales associate or even getting my jewelry cleaned. None of that. So of course, how the video was titled, my recommendations of how to score a David Yurman piece for the low. Without going to an outlet store, you really have to dig into the resale market. And I know the resale market is not for everyone. However, I really want to give you some recommendations on how to really dig in and look for great pieces on the resale market, because honestly, never been disappointed in any of the 11 David Yurman pieces that I've scored off the resale market. However, you really got to be diligent and really got to do your research. And it really happened by a coincidence. So I didn't even know that the David Yurman brand has been around for quite some time. I came across the brand when I had a store credit to a site that is similar to like Poshmark. It was like a resale site. And the site ended up closing down, but I had a store credit for about $600 and something odd. I had to use the credit before the site closed. And I really was just looking for like this high cost item where I could use the credit, get it over, be done with, and not have to go and look for a lot of smaller items to equal up to the credit that I had. So I came across this particular David Yurman bracelet, which is a 7mm cable bracelet in malachite with malachite stones. I came across that bracelet and it looks really nice online, but I was really scared. I was like, I don't know if this is authentic. How do I check it? But the pictures did show the stamp, the sterling silver 925 stamp. So I just took a chance, went ahead and purchased it, got it in the mail, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful bracelet. I had honestly never seen a David Yurman cable bracelet until I got this one and saw the selection that they had online. So of course I looked at the brand of the bracelet and I just happened to do a Google search on the full website of David Yurman, and I was kind of like, wow, this is some really nice jewelry. But I also saw that it was sterling silver. Now, they have some really great pieces in sterling silver, and of course, I have my sterling silver stack as well as my mixed sterling silver and gold stack. But after I saw my malachite cable bracelet on the actual David Yurman website for $795, I was a little blown away because I didn't pay that much for this bracelet. I think I paid like maybe $495 with the sales tax and all of that. So I was really kind of like really proud of myself because I was like, wait a minute, I just scored a deal. I was already in step with purchasing items on resale websites like The Real Real and Fashion File. And so I looked the David Yurman brand up on both of those websites and saw that they had a really great selection of a lot of the rings and jewelry and all of those type of items that David Yurman sells. So what I ended up doing was going on the David Yurman website, and I don't think that they offer this anymore because I tried to go on there yesterday and I didn't see it as far as sizing was concerned. But they had on their website at one specific time where you could go and get like a little ring kit and they would mail it to you. And honestly, it's just a plastic zip, but it has the numbers, as you can kind of see there on the front, where you can just get your size really quick as far as a ring was concerned. So I ended up getting that off the David Yurman website and just kind of following their instructions, because I think one thing about it, when you purchase off the resale sites, that is one thing that you really need to make sure that you're very much aware of, your particular size in the David Yurman jewelry. Because when I looked on those resale sites like The Real Real and Fashion File, it was like a new obsession just kind of unlocked for me, because then I started looking on Pinterest and seeing all the ladies with their stacks and how they were adding it with their watches and how they were basically wearing their David Yurman stacks. So when I'm thinking about what my personal goal was as far as building my David Yurman collection, I really just kind of kept my thoughts and my wants open for whatever the website had. And I knew I kind of wanted 3 different looks. So right now I'm working on my gold look. I wanted a stack that was all sterling silver. I wanted a stack that was a mixed gold. And then I also want a stack that is all gold. But if you know, like I know, all gold, 14 karat or 18 karat gold pieces from David Yurman, they're taxing, baby. They are taxing. Maybe if I hit the Powerball, you know, there'll be signs. If you see me with that bracelet, you know I hit the Powerball and I'm not going to be found, okay? The thing about it is, doing the comparison price on the resale market versus the David Yurman website, there was a pretty big price gap that was very visible. And since it is sterling silver, that's really kind of the reason it doesn't really have a great resale value. A lot of these websites just kind of mark up these prices, and then because we are wanting to have that really beautiful piece of jewelry, then we end up paying that particular price. And so I just kind of started and made it my mission. If I was going to build a David Yurman stack on both of my arms, I really wanted to dig in and do the research of how to find the perfect piece. One method I use when I'm trying to decide whether to buy a David Yurman piece on a resale website is to check the weight of the silver. I then compare that to the price per gram of silver of the market and on a different website. For example, with the ring that we just saw, its weight is 6.3 grams. After putting those numbers in, you can clearly see that the silver in this ring is only worth about $15.59. Then I ask myself if I'm willing to pay the markup of the $300 asking price. Often, if I can wait for the price to drop, I do, especially if there are multiple pieces of the same item. But it just all depends on how comfortable I am with the sale. If you're not okay with it selling, then that's when you have to make a decision about buying it or not. So one of the reasons I like to purchase off the resale sites, not specifically because of the prices, but I always like the pieces that look a little bit more vintage, they look a little bit more worn. Because normally when I go on these particular websites, if I'm purchasing like a purse or clothes, I normally do a filter. And when I do the filter, I only pick excellent and pristine, because I don't like buying other people's germs when you do fair or very good. And I really kind of want to try to make sure that I get a lot of good use out of the piece. But I don't necessarily do that for my jewelry. When I have my jewelry, or I'm specifically looking for David Yurman pieces, it doesn't matter what the condition is. It could be fair, it could be very good, it could be just good, excellent, or pristine. A lot of times you don't see a lot of pieces that are pristine. Excellent, yes. Very good. That's really mainly where I go to, because you have to realize it's sterling silver. So it is going to tarnish, but once you get some really good polish cleaner or take them to get clean, they look brand new. So I really don't hesitate to look in the good or the very good when I'm doing a sort or filter to look at the different jewelry that the resale sites have, because a lot of these pieces, like especially my ring, it was really tarnished. So because it was very tarnished, this ring was only like $168, and that was including the taxes and the shipping and handling. But if you look on the website, I believe this ring is like $200, $300. So that's a pretty big difference. So especially if it's a piece that is actually on the David Yurman website, for example, the large or extra large oval bracelet, link bracelet, that's still sold on the David Yurman website. So if I can find one that I really like, knowing what my size is in the bracelet, I really try to make sure that it is worth my time buying off the resale sites. So it has to be at least $100 to $500 difference that I'm getting the value, because if that's the case, where I'm not paying at least $100 to $500 difference, then I might as well go to the store and get the experience of going to the store, seeing what the new releases or the new collection that the brand has to offer. So it's kind of like you really have to weigh your options when it comes to buying off the resale websites. So really having a goal in how you want to look for your jewelry, whether you're staying open to the condition or the different styles, because I know like they have the cable collection, they have the Renaissance collection, they have a lot of different collections. So if you are technically looking for a specific piece of jewelry, you want it to be a specific collection, then the resale market might not be the first stop for you, but at least I would recommend looking on the resale market, just simply because you just never know. I began to build a collection of all silver jewelry. I centered it around my Cartier watch. I wanted it to look like I was wearing 4 different bracelets. As you can see, the cable bracelet, which is the 4mm at David Yurman, was $495. However, when I purchased the 5mm bracelet with the same stone in excellent condition off of Fashion File, it cost me $378, including tax and shipping. I also wanted the large oval bracelet, but as you can see, David Yurman's website listed for $595, while I paid $378 on the same resale website. As you can see, the jewelry I wear on my right hand is always centered around my watch on my left wrist, because I want to ensure it feels balanced. The Buckle Classic bracelet is one of the best deals I've gotten on a David Yurman bracelet. On the website, it's listed for $1,950, but I scored it off a Fashion File for $642, which is more than a 50% discount. Many of the other pieces I own, like the Huggy earrings and 3 of the box chain necklaces, were all purchased on the resale market. For all of them, I simply bought my own silver cleaner and polished them when I received them, and they look brand new. So I really hope that you found this video very helpful. Maybe you have a new way of searching for your new David Yurman pieces, but of course, you gotta let me know in the chat. What is your favorite David Yurman piece of jewelry? Are you a bracelet type person, rings? You go for like the full dress down? Do you go for a really thick stack? You only like 2 bracelets and a watch on one side? Let me know how you're styling your David Yurman jewelry. Thank you so much for joining this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.